Well, I'll tell you the story now. Pull up a sandbag. This is going to be a good one.
Welcome, Mac, old man Mac. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, great. Thank you. It's honour to be here,
No,
so
not at all,
to
mate.
speak. You know,
I'm happy to have you here
I know,
in the
yeah.
shed.
I'm dreading it.
Starting off with question number one.
Starstruck, I see.
That's just a shine off the head.
I know. I apologise to the viewers. Go on.
Freshly polished.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereabouts you from?
So I'm from a place called Fenton in Stoke-on-Trent. That's where I grew up. You know, most of my childhood life, and then through work, I then moved away and ended up settling in Derbyshire, a place called Swadlincote, in between Asper-de-la-Zouche and Burn-on-Trent.
I didn't realise you were from Swad.
Yeah.
From Swaddy.
Yeah. I'm not a Swaddy though. I'm
No.
pure Stoke. You can tell by the accent.
Well, I thought you were from Liverpool. That's another.
No,
that's
let's not
another
go down there.
topic.
Rob Durain will go mental.
I don't want you to punch me in the face at the start of the podcast.
Go down well, would it?
What is your main game system?
Main is
and armies.
So for me, it'd be Heresy. It's definitely Heresy. That's the main one. Army wise is Dark Angels. I love for them.
Yeah.
You know, and I've used obviously Raven Wing. You know, went to the extreme of
You
using
did.
jet bikes
Yeah,
galore.
you have. Yeah.
I think I brought the most stock from GW. There was them. You know, did Breacher Army with them. So I, you know, did use that as an army and then bounced off ideas for them. And then as for Custodes, as my go-to army, I really love. You know,
You golden boys.
the Golden Boys, as they say. You know, and anybody that sees me, you know, thinks, oh, hey, it's another Custody player, but they've not come across me in my dice. So, you know. Yeah.
Well, you can't rely on that anymore because since attrition gave you those dice, all you do is roll sixes.
No, that was the one-off. That was
Against me.
Yeah.
What is your preferred style of play?
I think the dice gods stopped me from playing competitive. Put it that way. They, you know, for the amount of rolls I won. I just enjoy. I enjoy the painting side. I enjoy the playing. You know, and you know when I come together with ideas for how am I going to take an army to an event, etc. I don't. You know, I just look at the models and think, how would, you know, what would suit the theme? How could I you know go for it and you know get the wild ideas? So for example, you know, using Custodes, I went with an idea of going. You know, using the Venatari or Hawkmen. I think 3 squads of them loose on the table. You know.
I remember seeing that in the wild.
Yeah,
and it was just like someone just went. Have you seen like the Brian Blesseds?
I know.
You know, Gordon's alive.
It was
just, and I was just like, that's cool.
Yeah, it was. I didn't last long on the table.
No.
Though. I think I got smashed straight off it. But you know, it's you know, I'd gone with ideas of you know how can I, you know, I look at it and you know how would they play it, you know, and not necessarily pick you know the wackiest of models.
The auto includes you're going for something a bit different.
Yeah, it's something different because you know you want you to obviously enjoy it, but your opponents as well, and especially with Custodes, you know, in the way that they can be, you know, they can destroy anything they
can be
hit.
Quite oppressive.
But you know, I try and think, well, how would my you know the game where I'm going to play, you know, let's see if I do something different for it to fight against or whatever. So it's not necessarily.
I mean, in my experience, it was just the Ares gunship and just.
No, that was something real. That was brilliant. You know, I think that was the first time I played it once, and I just couldn't hit a tactical marine. I kept rolling, and there was I think it was some snipers on a building. It was at Warhammer World, and then every time I rolled, I just couldn't even destroy a single attack marine with the weapon systems. And then it went to Ben, and there obviously came out, you know, for our games, you know, and doubles and that, and it was brilliant. It was nice just to bring it on the table.
When you were using it was point, shoot, delete.
Oh,
That's what it was.
Yeah.
See that raw scorpion over there? Fuck off.
However, not all the time though. It was
No.
it never. The dice never worked.
My favourite question: have you ever worked for Games Workshop? Because they're like vegans, they tell everyone.
No, I haven't. Unfortunately, I haven't. I think when I'd left the services, I had a break in service. I did. There was a big call out at the time for I think they were going through store managers, requests for store managers, etc. A big cull of investing in. So I thought, I'd give it a try. I filled the form, sent it, but I never followed it through or nothing. I knew I was going back to the services, and that was it. Like, so,
fair enough. Yeah.
So that was it. So no,
We're going to go back in time, and I'm trying really hard not to make the jokes.
Go on.
No. When did you first start collecting Warhammer?
Okay, so since then, I'll make the joke for you. I've had so many bangs to the head, so my memory's kind of shock. So I think it was around the late 80s at school. There was a group of us, a group of friends, and obviously we'd came across a magazine, a couple of magazines, etc., and we looked into it. There was 2 places in Stoke, small shop called Fiction Factory in Stoke itself.
Okay.
And then there was a main shop called Fantasy World in Hanley.
That sounds so dodgy.
I know, you can see it now. But they were, they both shot. Fiction Factory was like a small independent store, which sold quite a few miniatures. And then Fantasy World itself was like it did a lot of heavy metal. It was kind of a grunge shop. It sold all models down below, upstairs, all T-shirts, records.
Because when you say Fantasy World, I just think of like blacked out windows and.
Yeah, no, we won't go down that ringy. Quick, pull the pin.
That's it.
So so we started. We went down to this. I remember we went on bikes. We pedalled down like to the shop, with what money we got, and I think I got some goblins. Again, it sounds dodgy, doesn't it? Goblins. So I got this set. I think some other guy got some barbarians around, but it wasn't GW stuff. It was just something new into the hobby.
Oh, okay.
As we've started to to discover it, etc. And then we found obviously Fantasy World, was selling the stuff, and we went to there, and that was where GW was majority sold there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And because there was no, at my time, there was no. Stoke didn't have a GW,
no.
Unfortunately.
Well,
but I was there when it opened, though.
No, but that's how they started, wasn't it? They just went to independent toy shops and just said, "Do you want to sell our minis?" So when did the store open? Like, do you remember it fondly? Or?
I remember it when it opened, and there was obviously the queue for get in.
Yeah.
You used to have at the time the games were White Dwarf magazines, and inside you had the vouchers.
I was going to ask you about this.
So they had all of that. I vaguely remember, we queued and we went in. I didn't get in until quite late. The models, it's only a small shop, but they had tons of models, for sale, and they kept putting the stock out. And I remember kneeling down, like looking at some models, the blister packs, and a guy had like a shopping trolley, one of the things, and he was outdoor jet bikes and that, and he was picking 2, get that one free, picking 2, and he just was filling this thing. Wow. I was like,
Can you imagine doing that? Now?
But then prices were different then. It was like $2.99 a blister pack compared to.
Well, we've just been talking about this before we started recording. I'll put some photos for like a bit of context. But, there was essentially a chap who passed locally, and he was basically selling his son was selling his collection to build up money for to make some money for charity, and it was amazing because it obviously wasn't amazing. It was a very sad reason to do it, but like it was an amazing experience because you just had literally probably 3 or 4 gaming tables worth of just blister packs, and it was just such a really enjoyable like shopping experience because you don't really know what you're going to see next, and you can physically see the model, and it's in like you can get your hands on it and stuff, and it was actually like a really nice shopping experience, and I much prefer that.
Definitely. I think I walked away from there. I think I just brought the Terminators, in the green box. They were in the green box, and I think you had 8 metal lead Terminators inside. I think that's what I brought from there, and I think it might have been an expansion for Space Hulk, I think I got from there.
Okay,
It was either them or a box of Space Marines, the road traders. From that place side, it It was good, a good little buy, like, you know, with what pocket money I had at the time, like
peak hobby. That's what I want to. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
We talked about this the other day, didn't we? Like, in my opinion, which holds no value. Like the old Rogue Trader Space Marines, the hand sculpted stuff. You can't get better.
No.
Actually, when I was at Bring Out Your Lead at Wargames Foundry the other week, there was a table of Rogue Trader, and it just looked phenomenal. Like the guys that were playing painted clearly to an incredibly high standard, and there was like Space Marines, there was Gene Stealers, there was the old Gene Stealer, like and they were like really like
the
really,
lead ones out. Their arms, like
That's
when
it.
they put them in, and they were like kind of tied together.
But it just looked amazing. And like, even though and interesting, the scale was very low, because obviously now you've got like Titans and big 3-4 story buildings and stuff. All of that was just like one story sort of thing, and I was just like, that looks so cool. You know, aesthetically it just looked amazing. I don't think I took any photos because I think I was just like, I fanboyed a little bit. I was like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to sit here and just appreciate it. But yeah, that was that kind of era of shopping experience and gaming experience. I think I look on that very fondly. You were saying that back in the day, you and your mates obviously like collected stuff. Did you guys play as well?
So gaming wise, I think looking back at it now, you know, we used to have obviously the Rogue Trader book and all that. We collected quite a lot, you know, Space Marines. You know, I think my mates collected Chaos. I got I think one of the first box sets I brought was the Plastic Orc box set. I mean, it was like yay big.
It was
about 30 models in or something.
Absolutely,
like. You know, I never put them all together. I did a few I think it was more the catchment time when we were getting into it. You were bouncing off, let's buy this and try this. We never played, 40k a lot, or, you know, probably one or two times, you know, Old World. Again, my friend had the box set. We you know, I think it was Skaven and High Elves were in that box set. So I think when that came out, it was the first of the box sets that came out with the models. You know, but I think the main one for us, what we got involved was Space Hulk. That you know, to me, that was probably one of the best games GW ever released. To this day, the rules were simple. I'm not going to say why. I can see everybody going crazy to it. But the rules were simple. It was a game what you could pick up, tactically play. You know, you could put the game down and then a few weeks later still pick it up, quick little refresh, and off you went. It was brilliant, and it came out at the same time. So I was there when I remember going in Fantasy World upstairs, and they had the tables, this big setup, and we went up to have a look, and they were doing demo games before it ever came out.
Oh wow!
So we were just watching, but it wasn't. I don't think it was GW staff that were running. I can't remember. I think it was the store staff or whatever. Was do you want to have a go? We just stood and watched it and shot off. And then at the same time that was coming, Aliens was kind of big on the scene. So the Marines running around with the aliens, obviously. So you could kind of link them both together. So you'd watch the films and kind of.
It couldn't be better timing.
No, it was brilliant. You know, it was brilliant. So that so we got into that massively. Like I remember setting up the boards. I think we had several copies of the game between us. Going to my friends, and we just set a massive floor. You know, whatever goes. The on the floor, the mapping. It was just massive. You know, we'd just be running around it all day playing, and that was brilliant. It was a good time. I'd love to get back into it, but it's trying to find people out there, you know, that around you that that played.
I'll play. When did you go from like playing with mates like to going to events? Like, what was your first? What was your first event?
So my first event. So as the story goes, so obviously you get into it. So I obviously was into the hobby very at the beginning. Got into it, into the lore, etc. And then I stopped due to work. I moved away. And that was it. Then I was untouched, unseen, untouched. Never dealt with it. But what I used to do every now and then. used to always go past the GW shop and just have a little look in and just have a little walk around and all that, like, you know, just keep
walking with the kids and you're just like, oh, look at this, you know, Timmy, look at this, and it's like you're there yourself looking. Like, that's amazing.
Well, I'll tell you the story now. Pull up a sandbag. This is going to be a good one. So yeah, so that was it. Like, and it wasn't until later on down the line, you know, quite a few years had passed. You know, 20 odd years, or 15, 16 years had passed away. You know, and then my obviously our children, my daughter, and then I had my eldest son, and I thought, well, how can I get him into a hobby? How can I? You know, my daughter went going, you know, the usual dance clubs, etc. And my son went a little bit of football. I thought, just find a hobby for him to get involved with, a bit of father and son hobby. Yeah. So I remember sitting in the car. I remember it vividly, and I sat in the car, and a couple of days before, or a few weeks, like, I'd gone into the local GW at Burton. Was in there just having a look, chatting with the store manager, Andy, really nice guy. You know, was chatting to him and looking at the models and everything. And I thought, you know, I might have a little look at this. So I was looking in the internet, doing a little bit of research, found Forge World and everything. And, you know, I thought there were two entities, different. Heresy, what's this all about? And what I used to do is, when I used to go away at times, used to go in, started to buy a book. I think I brought a Space Wolf book and read the story as I was away. And then, you know, so I was starting to slowly, you know, come back into it. And I thought, I'll take my son. We sat in the car and I looked on the internet. Where I lived, I didn't realise how close Warhammer World was to me. And now part of the furniture.
It's like 20 minutes or something.
Yeah. So I said, come on, we'll go there. We'll go have a look. So we jumped in the car and we found the place, like, and I walked in, pulled up. And I remember walking into it and seeing, like, it was the old style before they had the rebuild. So in the window, I think we had Angron charging across with these World Eaters, the diorama. It was brilliant. And I remember walking in, and then walking through them doors, listening to that gaming hall was phenomenal. The opening them doors is something I'll always take away. When it's quiet, and you open the doors, and that rush of, you know, the people shouting, bands and shouting everything. It's brilliant.
There was also like a quite memorable smell. Before they put the aircon in there, it was just like, especially in the summer, like, it was, oh my god. Just the smell of just old feet.
It's usually my Old Spice, you know, whatever. I can smell that. And I remember taking him in, and I was in awe that we'd gone up into the museum, which was just a single room. I was showing him all of this, and then we went down and we painted our first model, like, and I was like, amazing. Give me that paintbrush, like, you know, I was kind of, and I thought I'll get him back into it or whatever, you know, and I brought a paint set and everything, and he didn't take to it. However, what happened was the total reverse, as I got back into it then, and that was me then starting to collect and everything I'd read. Got into Heresy, read the first book and that, and started to build from there. My first way in, I think, with a guy called Ed Barthel from had ran I don't know, I can't remember how we started getting into it, but he ran a slow grow. So that's how I started, you know, buying these Forge Wheel.
Was it like Thursday night gaming or something like that?
It was Saturdays. Every month, I think you turn up, and it, you know, for him, you know, I'm grateful. You know, getting into it, how just turning up with my little models painted, standing there. Nothing's changed for, you know, all these years now. Like, standing there going, okay, so what do I do now? Like, and the gamers were really helpful. You know, people helped me. The community then, this community was really, you know, helping, and that's. I started doing that as slow grow. Obviously managed to build up a force, and then later down the line, my first event I'd gone to King Fluff's event. I think near to Tamworth. And I remember rocking it. I took custodies at the time. Like, I had a custody force. That was my very first pay for event. I was shitting myself. You know, everything I thought I knew just went straight out the back of my head. Like, and you know, I remember standing there and I said, you know, every time I apologise to every player. Look, I apologise. I don't know my rules. I still do that to this day. I'll struggle. And you know, they helped me and everything. It was really good. And that was my first pay for event I'd gone to.
That's amazing.
I think it was King Fluff's event first, and then after that, the main ones I went after that was Attritions.
Well, we can't not mention those boys, can we?
You know. Well, my heart's for them pair.
Yeah. So what was your first attrition event? Do you remember going down for your first attrition event?
I do. And again, I was shitting myself going down there. It was, so I was based in Bulford, and I was on the internet searching for places, and I found, obviously, the Durrington. I'm sure it's Durrington. I'll have to check on the internet. Sorry if I got that wrong again. We'd meet there, and obviously I helped a guy called Craig. I met him off a course. Ironically, again, the story of meeting him was I was on a course with him for 2 weeks. I'd been on the internet with Facebook, listening to the watching chats and all that. And this guy was quite characterful on the chats. It was quite amusing. And I was on this course, never cottoned. 2 weeks into the course, we were about to finish. It was quite an intense course. Yeah. And on the last day, it was not until the last day we were finishing, about to go home. And he walked in, and we were in a civvies. Yeah. He walked in, and he had a T-shirt on with a knight's head on, like off the 40k knights.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at him going, we need to chat. I've just seen that. We need to chat.
Yeah, we can't do it in public, but we need to have a private conversation. Yeah.
And he went, yeah, after we'd had our closing brief, etc. He said, I said, are you into, you're Craig, and he's, you're the guy off the chat. I know you're quite funny. And again, that bromance started from there. That's amazing. And he took me down to show me the back of his car, and as he opened up the back of his car, he had I think it was Thousand Sons. I think he had an army in the back, and it was just before the box set, the first box set came out, the plastic one.
Yeah, Calth,
so I was asking him, do I go walls, do I go custodes and that? And he was saying, you don't want to do custodes, go walls or go something different. But I didn't. I went for custodes, and that was it. The Golden Boys, my heroes. And I remember walking in. I think I ran custodes, and I remember having them in a box.
Yeah. And
just seeing all these faces, all these gamers. I thought, fucking, I'm way out of my league. and then all fair play, Neil had coming up to me. You okay, Mackie? Yeah, I'm fine. Like, he kept checking on me. I had some really good games. I can't remember them. There was a guy. I remember playing a game against a guy. I can't think of his second name. I think it was. I had my custodes against his. He had World Bearers at the time. He usually plays Raven God.
I know Guy.
Yeah, really nice. I remember playing him at one of his events, and I remember walking out after that game. I won it for once, But I remember bringing in this custody transport. It took time to get on the board because I kept rolling fucking ones to try and bring it in. And it finally come on, and I think that because I brought that in last, it made me win the game, and I felt horrible doing it. I said, I'm sorry, and I remember him turning around and saying, play it as it is. This is why we play the game. Play it for the hobby. And it was such a buzz after, that game itself. But the attrition was the first main event I'd gone to.
Because I'd been down. I think I'd been down to a couple of attrition events. And then I remember seeing the Brian Blessed Custodes wing. That was like, I remember seeing that and I was like, that was cool. I didn't realise they were yours at the time. I think the first time was that you were unsure about getting a ticket, so you didn't get a ticket, but you came down and helped out. And you were just helping out through the day. And I think this is like testament to your character, is that at the end of the day, you were in the kitchen doing like all the tidying and the cleanup, and I just thought that's a good dude. You didn't have to do that.
No,
but you were happy to do that.
I
just thought that was like really testament to your character. It's not very often people would choose to do that at the end of it. I thought fair play to you.
They pay me in Snicker bars for it. But no, I love the boys.
They're fantastic. I love how they work, they work I don't know how it happens, but they work really well together.
Yeah.
Like Neil is like laser focused, super organised, and then
you have
he's just brilliant.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'll call him Captain Asbo.
Yeah. I'm angry. Go sort that out.
Yeah, honestly.
And Neil's the calming influence around them, you know.
But like I say, Hearts of Gold. And I'm really glad that like they're a staple event for us to go to, because you go down, you know, you're going to have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Going back to hobby, one of the stories you told me a while ago, which made me laugh, is that you. I might get this wrong, but you were on the train, I think it was once, and you were reading.
Oh yes.
You were reading
so
a Warhammer book, weren't you, or something?
Yeah. So and I remember sitting on the train, and I was reading. I can't remember the book. It was a Heresy book. I sat there, and I was going back to work, and this bloke across, as I sat there, he was sat looking across, and he had this. I think he had a briefcase or something. Or he had something with him, and he kept looking at me, and I'm reading this book, and I'm looking up, and he kept staring at me, and then I'd look up, and he'd kind of shy away, and I thought, am I gonna get mugged? Am I gonna end up fighting? You know, this is what I don't want. You know.
Yeah. He's like, why is this guy staring at me?
Yeah, you know,
getting paranoid.
Yeah, can he smell my brute on me or something? Or, you know, is the Lynx effect having it? You know, and we were on the train for a bit, and then all of a sudden he you know, one made the call. I can't remember who broke the silence, and he just went, "Excuse me, are you enjoying that book?" Like, and I was like, "Yeah, why?" And I'd gone straight into defence. Before here we go, and he says, "No." He says, "I'm into it. You know, I'm into the." And it was like, wow, you know, and he, you know, we sat next to him, and he pulls up. I think he had an Audible or something, and he was just telling him about all the books he was reading, and and it was like, wow, you know, not you know,
you were there thinking,
I'm going to get my head kicked in here.
I'm going to have a tumble in a minute.
But it wasn't. It was, you know, it was somebody just making friend.
The guy's like probably like mega autistic or something. He's got really bad social skills. But he's just like, I want to talk to him because he's got a Warhammer book.
Yeah, and there's me about to fucking throw him off the train, especially. You know, bless him. If he's watching, I apologise.
Yeah.
But
I love that story though. It's just like, you're just like, what are you staring at? Like, I'm reading a book and what?
And I think I was going up to Warhammer World or something, and my wife said, "Put your Christmas jumper on." She brought me a Dark Angels Christmas jumper, so I wanted it in a way. So I put that on, wear this in public. Here we go. Yeah. And I remember sitting with him. We were having breakfast, you know, and then all of a sudden, two people were sat near to him, and this woman went, "Excuse me, is that a Warhammer jumper? Where'd you get that from?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, it's you know, Warhammer, wow." You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And then when she went, "Yeah, it's from a little child," like, I went, "Okay."
Oh, okay. Of course it is.
Yeah, of course.
Drinks break.
I'm dying to fall.
Please don't do it, Nick.
Oh, sorry. It squeaked.
You're just showing off because I can't do it anymore.
You've got that on camera. Oh, sorry. Oh dear. Oh.
So what are you working on at the moment, and what are you enjoying?
I'm working on obviously some custodies.
Yeah.
Doing some Malta's spears. Mm-hmm. Don't ask me what they're called because I can't pronounce the word.
That was so funny when you you posted about them. I was like, you definitely didn't spell that yourself.
No, I didn't. I had the box in front of me, and when I put it up, I still spelt it wrong as well.
Oh, mate,
so I'm working on them. I've just brought the Shield Captain because the PDF had dropped for the rules, and for some reason the Shield Captains can have the ornament of a spear and a shield, and GW's got the 40k version one, which I thought I'd get hold of that one and tried, and then it's just, you know, starting from fresh, so to speak. It's not.
It's weird time, isn't it? So we're all in a really weird place.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know what anything does. We don't know how anything works. I've only played twice, and I've kind of said, like, for me to give an informed opinion, I need to play at least 5 times.
Oh, I need quite a handful of games, you know.
It's a shame, mate. I know why, and I know you're gutted that you couldn't come to that event, the doubles event.
I was rooting though. I was my boys, Ollie and Ollie Pierre and Max. Love them to bits. You know, Max. I'll teach Max because if you know, Ollie as me in disguise because Ollie rolls just as bad as me. And Max got, the only difference is Ollie knows his rules and I don't. So them pair together, I was really rooting for them. I love them to bits. You know.
It was very unique. Like from my point of view, I didn't want to be in that position because I was like I was really conscious and worried because when I run these events, it's just literally just for friends. Just come together, roll dice. I want to have a bespoke rule pack, a bit more flavour, and everyone just has a good time. But I couldn't do a rules pack or bespoke missions.
You didn't know the rules.
Because I didn't fucking know the rules myself. And there was so many question marks. I was really like anxious about what was going to happen. Obviously, a lot of people know I had like some big life stuff going on in the background. So my head was all over the place. But I just thought, do you know what? Fuck it. Like I can control what I can control. I can't control what I can't control. Get the guys in the room together. Start rolling dice. And it was really funny because like everybody was a little bit nervous. And everyone was a little bit like, I don't know what's going to happen. And everyone was a little bit, and literally did the matchups, and it was really funny. Like there was quite a lot of excitement. It was like, oh, nice to meet you, or what you got, blah blah blah, and then literally just everybody just went book.
Silence.
It was honestly, I've never heard that hall so quiet. Like everybody literally just pulled up a chair, sat down, and started reading the rule books, and I was just like. But we did, you know, people got into it. We did some 360 feedback. And people were like learning about it and whatever. It was really some really, really interesting points that were being made. And everyone was just like, ooh. And someone says, I go, ah. And it's like, have you thought of this? And like, has this happened? And it was a really, really good experience. And like everyone at the end was like, that was the best day ever. And I was just like, I wasn't expecting that. I was so worried.
I tip my hat to you. I generally, I think it was needed. I think what you did there, pulling everyone together. I mean, don't get me wrong, they were caught in it anyway because they'd all paid a ticket or whatever, so they had no fucking choice. But I think, you know, in my eyes, and I can only say because I wasn't there, unfortunately, the community that you know your friends, etc., gathered for that would have been grateful because to them they've learned, they'd have walked away learning something new.
One of the things that really surprised me, like not in a negative way, it just surprised me that we started playing game one at like 10 o'clock. It got to lunchtime, like we do fish and chip run and whatever, and it was like 12:30, and they was like, what turn's everyone? Turn 2. And I'm like, okay. Well, I said, everyone was on board with this. I said, I'm not going to stop the game because you're 2 turns in. You're going to start learning all the subtle nuances. People were enjoying challenges. There was different scenarios that were unfolding that would naturally, you know, holistically occur as a game progresses. So I don't want to stop you boys, and you don't have that like experience. So we stopped for like half an hour, 45 minutes for lunch or whatever. Game one actually ended about 2:30. Like 20 to 3. So the first game lasted about actual play time, like nearly about 3.5, 4 hours. And I was just like, wow, that's. But when we did game 2, we started at 3, and I think everybody was finished by 5:30.
So there you go.
And like I think everybody was like, right, bish, bash, bosh. You know, they learned the weapon profiles, all the new rules. Like obviously, there's still stuff that are called the same but mean different. But people were like on it. And I thought, actually, we're all right. Because I was a little bit worried that if it takes 4 hours to play a game.
They're not going to get a second one in and things like that.
No, I think the second game, they were like bosh.
And I think.
I wanted to quickly touch on the Warhammer Worlds midnight release.
Oh, the hell, yes.
That me and you went to. And
Geeks.
Me, you and Jamie went to. And obviously we got there. What time was it about?
It was about, I think it was getting really, I think about 11:30. Was it about 11:30?
I think we said get there for 10:30.
10:30,
because there was like they were doing like
quizzes, etc. and everything.
So me and you met in the car park in the middle of Nottingham at like, what was it? I think it was about 11:15.
It was,
as I came in on 2 wheels.
So I parked up parked up, and then all of a sudden these lights, and out you got, and I was like, oh, what's he doing there? Where's he doing here? Like, it was, so we got out, and I think we were speaking to, speaking to him for a while, like outside.
Yeah. And he's like, come in, there's a big thing, because the car park was quite empty. It wasn't even, like, there was, maybe a third full?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, this is really, we were expecting people to be queuing.
I thought there'd be queues, and so, like, I thought I'll time it, whereas the majority's gone in, etc., and I'm going in, hopefully, the queue's gone down, etc. But like you say, I got out and I looked at you, and the first thing I said, have we got the right night?
It was just like, are these just staff cars? Like, it was really strange. Yeah. But I think on reflection, we've subsequently learned that the capacity is dictated by how many people they can have in Bugman.
Yes,
that was, is, let's just say there's like 100 covers in there or whatever. So that's the number of tickets. It's something like that. But I remember me and you walked in, like we went up the sounds wrong. We went up the back entrance into Bugman's, and that's even worse.
Yeah.
But we went up to the fire escape, and then we walked into Bugman's, and it was full.
Yeah.
But it was so quiet.
Yeah.
And me and you were just like, what is going on? This is so odd. Like, me and you just started giggling, didn't we? Just like, what is going on?
Get to the bar.
It was just like, this is really strange. And it transpired everybody was halfway through a quiz.
Yeah, that was it, yeah.
So like everybody's like, autism, and everybody was engaged in trying to get all the questions right.
Yeah.
And me and you were like, is this like dusk till dawn? Are we going to get like eaten alive or something like that?
We just walked into Titty Twister or something.
Honestly, it was so strange. And me and you just started giggling at the bar.
Just laughing. I think we had a brew and all that, and just don't move. We'll just stay here, shall we? Looking around where was a chair.
So funny.
But... And then I think we found chairs in the end, and we left. We got our brews and then sat, and then Jamie come in. With his slush pup, and sat down with us. Right, geezers.
Yeah, that's Elliot, who was doing on the mic.
Yeah, he did a
legend.
Cracking job.
Yeah.
A lot of time for him.
Again, actually, he's up there with Ed in terms of his efforts for like customer service and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he's a fantastically nice chap. Always got time to talk.
Yeah.
He never does the hard sell. He doesn't need to.
No.
He just what are you working on? It's just like, why have I got a new army? But I remember it got to 5 to midnight, didn't it? And all of a sudden, people just started almost running out of Bugman's.
Yeah, to get into the queue to the shop.
And then, it was crazy. And people just start ripping their boxes open, start building them.
Yeah. But it wasn't masses of numbers, though, because, a handful had stayed, whereas it stayed, obviously, on the tables. We're doing the models.
Yeah.
I think me and Jamie were picking up the envelope. I don't know where you'd gone. Me and Jamie were looking through the envelopes that were on with the badges in, and I don't want that one, I want that one, or whatever.
Yeah, that was it,
And then obviously from there, we went into the museum, and that was amazing.
That was cool.
Yeah,
I think it was quite nice as well because there was only maybe half a dozen people in there at a time, so you could really appreciate how the new display. I know there's been I did a couple of posts and there was quite a lot of commentary about it's really boring, it's just dusty, there's just one colour and it's just but it's a war zone.
Yeah.
As soon as it starts kicking off,
the whole house breaks
loose. It's probably going to look like that.
Yeah.
And there's a few pops of colour and stuff, and I just thought visually it was amazing. The big scene, and then you started going through the scale of vision. So the little micro battles and stuff.
In Harrington, we taking pictures, and Jamie was smashing the top one
because I couldn't.
You were trying to jump with your camera, trying to lift, and you could sit and quite happily observe for quite a while and go away and then go back again and look at it which I did. I don't know. What do you reckon? I don't know. I could keep going.
No, let's. I'm gonna. We'll leave it there. And we can leave the fans hungry for more.
Yes, definitely.
For your glorious return.
Yeah.
Mac Part 2.
That's if you have a podcast after this one.
If I don't get cancelled. No, thank you very much.
It's been honest. I very enjoyed it. Yeah. It's good. Good to get on.
Natural, mate.
No.
Natural storyteller.
I'm getting off on it. Let's keep going.
That's an outtake.